Well, if you're looking for your husband, why don't you try looking at home where you'll be lost?
Did you grow up glued to the TV on Saturday mornings, watching some of the wildest, funniest, and most iconic cartoons ever made? We're going way back to the 1960s, to revisit the 10 most legendary cartoons that shaped childhoods and sparked the golden age of animation. And trust me, if you stick around till the very end, you'll find out which 1960s cartoon is still pulling massive audiences around the world today. Let's kick things off with a bird whose energy source is literally the sun. Birdman and the Galaxy Trio was a super fun cartoon from the late 1960s. It aired on Saturday mornings, which was prime cartoon time for kids back then. The show had two separate parts. First was Birdman, a winged superhero who got his powers from the sun. He shot energy blasts, could fly, and was basically unstoppable as long as he had sunlight. Then there was the Galaxy Trio, a group of 3 space heroes. They flew around the galaxy fighting space villains and saving planets. The team had cool powers like stretching, shrinking, and changing into different forms to fit any mission. Both Birdman and the trio had their own adventures, but they teamed up in short scenes to fight monsters sometimes. The show didn't run very long, but it left a mark. Now let's float into a magical hot air balloon with a purple hippo and his monkey pal. The Potamus Show was a super fun cartoon from the 1960s starring a big purple hippopotamus named Peter and his monkey sidekick Soso. The coolest part? They traveled around the world and even through time in a magic hot air balloon. Yeah, it was as wild as it sounds. The show had 3 parts: Peter and Soso's adventures, Breezely and Sneezely, a bear and a sneezing seal, and Yippee, Yappy, and Yahooey, 3 goofy royal guards who were always messing up. Each segment had its own crazy story, so it felt like you were watching 3 mini cartoons in one.
Some magic word. It got us tied to a stake.
And I think the steak is about done. Ow!
The show started off in syndication, which means different TV channels could show it, but later ABC picked it up. How about the Stone Age family that had a pet dinosaur, a rock car, and one of the catchiest theme songs ever? The Flintstones was super special because it was the first animated show ever shown during primetime TV, not just Saturday mornings for kids. It followed Fred Flintstone, his wife Wilma, and their best friends Barney and Betty Rubble. Even though the characters lived in a world of caves and dinosaurs, their lives were kind of like regular families from the 1960s. They had jobs, family dinners, annoying bosses, and funny neighbors. Fred was loud and goofy, but always meant well, and Wilma always had to keep him out of trouble. One of the best things about the show was its theme song. Once you hear Yabba Dabba Doo, you never forget it.
When you're with the Flintstones, we'll have a yabba dabba doo time, a dabba doo time.
It made the whole show feel fun right from the start. The Flintstones became one of the most loved cartoons ever made, and even today, people still enjoy watching it. If life in the Stone Age was that fun, get ready for music, teen drama, and one of the biggest cartoon bands ever. The Archie Show brought the classic Archie comics to life on Saturday morning TV. It first aired in 1968 and featured all the fan-favorite characters: Archie, Jughead, Betty, Veronica, and Reggie in animated form.
Percy could very well have been responsible for hot dogs knocking down your tent. He is a rather devilish lad.
Each episode had short stories with silly high school drama, funny misunderstandings, and of course, love triangles. Archie always stuck between Betty and Veronica. But what made it really cool was the band The Archies, where the characters performed catchy pop songs. One of their songs, Sugar Sugar, actually became a huge hit in real life. The show kept changing names over the years. In 1969, it became the Archie Comedy Hour, and even added Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Then in 1970, it turned into Archie's Funhouse, mixing cartoons with live-action skits. It's still popular today, with the recent adaptation Riverdale and its subsequent spin-offs, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina and Katie Keene. Up next, a tiny squirrel in a trench coat, sunglasses and a spy hat, sneaking around with crazy gadgets like laser pens and invisible umbrellas. Secret Squirrel was basically the cartoon version of James Bond, just way smaller and cuter. Secret Squirrel worked for the International Sneaky Service and went on all kinds of wild missions. His best buddy, Morocco Mole, was always by his side.
Is it time to panic yet, SS?
Not yet, Morocco!
And together, armed with some of the coolest tech, they made the funniest duo ever. Kids loved the action and talking animals, and adults secretly laughed too. The show had some sneaky jokes about real stuff like the Cold War and spy movies. But have you ever imagined living in a world with flying cars and robot maids? In 1962, the Jetsons gave people a crazy fun look at what the future could look like. The show followed George Jetson, his wife Jane, daughter Judy, and son Elroy.
You and your recording. He's out somewhere. Oh, how sneaky.
They lived in a future filled with cool inventions like moving sidewalks and automatic food machines. Their robot maid Rosie was like the OG Alexa, but with sass. Even though it was made over 60 years ago, a lot of the tech dreamed up on the show, like smartwatches and video chats, actually came true. Now, can anything beat a bird and a coyote in the world's funniest chase? Meep meep! That's literally all the Roadrunner needed to say to become a cartoon legend. The Roadrunner show was wild, funny, and didn't even use real words. It was all about the chase between the super-fast Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote, who kept trying and failing to catch him. The coyote used rockets, traps, and all kinds of gadgets, and they always backfired. He would fall off cliffs, get blown up, or get crushed by giant rocks, but somehow he'd always come back for more. There was no talking, just goofy sound effects, signs with funny messages, and endless fails. A bird that can outsmart a coyote is cool, but what about a silent panther who wins every time with just a look? The Pink Panther didn't even talk, but somehow he became one of the coolest cartoon characters of all time. His show kicked off in 1969 and had something totally different from most cartoons. It was quiet, like really quiet. But that was the magic. The Pink Panther just did his thing, always calm, smooth, and stylish, while chaos happened around him. And don't forget that jazzy theme music. Once you hear it, you never forget it. The animation was slick, the comedy was super visual, and the whole thing felt classy and weirdly relaxing. He didn't need catchphrases or big action scenes, it was all about the little moments. Silly looks, clever tricks, and unexpected laughs. And what happens when four superheroes argue like a real family? Enter the Fantastic Four, one of the most iconic superhero teams in Marvel history.
I've never seen an earthquake swallow a whole city block.
Things like that don't just happen.
So how did they get their powers? A space mission went wrong and they got hit with cosmic rays that turned them into superhumans. There's Mr. Fantastic, aka Reed Richards, who can stretch his body like rubber and is super smart. His wife, Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, can turn invisible and make powerful force fields. Her little brother Johnny Storm is the Human Torch, and he literally turns into fire and flies. And then there's the Thing, their friend Ben Grimm, who's like a big rock monster with crazy strength. They showed up for the first time in 1961 and totally changed how comic book heroes were written. Instead of being perfect, these heroes felt real. They argued, made mistakes, and had drama just like us regular humans. Finally, what do you get when you mix a talking Great Dane, a group of teens, and creepy haunted houses? You get Scooby Doo. Where are you? This cartoon started in 1969 and became an instant favorite. The story followed Scooby Doo and his gang, Shaggy, Fred, Daphne, and Velma, as they traveled in their van, the E-Mystery Machine, solving weird mysteries.
Hi, Velma.
Shaggy! Scooby!
Hey, Shag, I see you found us.
Every episode had a spooky monster or ghost, but in the end, it was always a person in a costume. That twist made it exciting and fun to watch. The show also gave us some classic lines like Jinkies and, of course, uh-oh. And even though the show started in the 60s, it's still popular today. There have been movies, new versions, and tons of Scooby snacks. Which of these 60s cartoons was your favorite? Did we miss one you loved? Let us know.